want to welcome each of you back to the Dang Right, a Melissa football podcast with Coach Nally. I am Coach Nally. I want to thank Mr. Kramen and his students for putting together this podcast. Mr. Kramen is the man, and his students are right there on his level. I'm so pumped to be doing this podcast with them. Our guest today is the one and only Coach Katie Stinton. Coach Stinton is probably the best coach here at Melissa ISD. The last 2 years, I've got the honor to watch her coach, and it's just been an amazing opportunity to observe her coaching style and her passion for athletics. I want to welcome a believer and my friend, Coach Katie Stinton, to the podcast. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you, Coach Nally. You didn't have to go believer so quick into the podcast.
Well, we're going to get into that. First question.
Oh, my gosh.
First question. Justin Bieber, what's the obsession? What's going on with that?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's not necessarily an obsession. I like him. You know, I just think I was a big boy band fan back and then he just he wasn't really a boy band person, and his voice probably never went through puberty, but I just like his music. You know what I like about him, Coach?
What's that?
I like the fact that he can get up there and be the best dancer on stage.
Dang right.
But he can also get on a stool and get out a guitar.
Dang right.
And play any instrument. He plays a piano, so he's just well-rounded. I like
Okay,
him.
so Backstreet Boys are in sync.
Oh, for sure, NSYNC.
Right, I agree.
Yes.
Totally agree.
Because I do like Timberlake a ton, too.
I'm with you.
He's probably number 2 behind Beats.
I kind of like Harry Styles, too. I can't believe I just admitted
see,
that.
I'm not a One Direction person
I just
at all.
can't believe I admitted that on air. Okay, so Katie Stinton, give us the story, the saga of Katie Stinton.
Oh, man. Well, I'm a local girl.
Dang right.
Grew up in Van Alstyne, K through 12. Played all the sports, did all the things, 5-sport athlete, went to a school back then, did everything.
Dang right.
Really fell in love with basketball and started doing that more seriously when I got into high school and started doing the travel ball thing and got pretty good at it, I guess, and got a scholarship to play basketball at Texas and then stayed in Austin after that for a few years, started my coaching career there. And then met my husband, moved back to the area, and been coaching in this area for the past 10 years.
Dang right.
And we have 2 sets of twins. Kind of a claim to fame. I guess most people can't say that they're that efficient. But yeah, and loving life.
Dang right. Dang right. Okay, is it true that you grew up an Aggie fan and that it was your dream school, but you went to Texas because A&M didn't offer you?
Oh my goodness, that is like a half truth, if I've ever heard one.
Man.
Okay, true. I did grow up an Aggie fan. My dad went to A&M. He became part of that brainwashed little community of Aggies. They're diehards, which I love that. So I became one, and then, I was a tomboy growing up. I wore Jordan stuff and A&M stuff.
Dang right.
And so, yeah, I was a diehard Aggie until I went to my first basketball camp going into the 6th grade. And I went to a bunch of girls from Van Alstyne were going down to Austin to the Texas camp. So I went down there. And as soon as I got home from basketball camp, I went into my closet and took everything A&M.
Whoa.
And threw it in the trash can and
wow.
Told my dad that I was going to play basketball at Texas. And it
Hook
was
'em,
over
baby.
at that point.
Hook 'em,
But
baby.
yes, diehard Aggie fan up until that point.
I
But let me finish. Not because I did. So it was not because I didn't get offered. Please, let's get that straight. No, I did get recruited by A&M, but honestly, I decided when I was 12 years old, 10 years old, whatever it was, that I was going to go to Texas.
That's awesome. All right, so let's get into a deep conversation here.
Deep thoughts.
What got you into coaching? And I really firmly believe that, and I could be wrong, but there's a coach out there for everybody. And, what got you into coaching, and was there a coach out there that inspired you to do it?
Honestly, I think we all start out as a kid with just our love for the game and our love to compete. And I had good coaches from the time I was in youth sports through high school and in college, all the things. But really, my first real coach, and he never even coached a true team that I was on, was my dad.
Mm-hmm.
just whether he taught me my batting stance.
Dang
I
right.
played
Dang
boys baseball until I was in the 6th grade.
Dang right.
Taught me how to throw a football, how to properly shoot a basketball. So when you ask about a coach, I mean, he was really the first kind of coach that I had, even though he didn't coach ever one of my teams. But to pick one would be hard because
Right.
I mean, I've been fortunate enough to play for great people, my entire life.
Right. Right. Well, let me ask you this. So, I've had the real privilege to watch your kiddos at football camp and stuff like this. And one of your boys, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to your husband, Zach, and I'm throwing it to one of your boys. And Zach's like, man, you got to throw it harder. You got to throw it harder. And make a long story short, like, do you think that your kids feel that way about you? Like you have that relationship with your dad, like your dad was kind of your coach. Do you think your kids kind of feel that way about you?
I hope so.
Right.
It's interesting because, my husband and I were both jocks. Like we breathe sports, and not all 4 of my kids are that way. I've got one of my daughters that loves to dance and is real, likes to do theater type things. Doesn't want to do sports at all. One of my boys doesn't love sports, but so I have to try like really hard. And it's good for me too to get outside of just sports.
Right.
But
Right.
man, I can't come home without the Max, the boy you're talking about. Let me go pitch to you. Can we
Right.
go pitch? Can we
Right.
go throw? I mean, that's all he wants to do. But I hope those others feel the same way. Like even
Right.
though I wasn't a dancer or whatever. So yeah, they're starting to all find their little things that they're loving
awesome.
to do. So I hope so, Coach Nally.
All right. So this is a big thing in the football coach's office, what I'm about to talk about. We talk about it a lot, Coach Stinton. We do. Let's discuss a moment back in the fall that involved a very primitive game that Coach Dixon, who possibly outwitted you and what some say out-athleted you, during that musical chair episode during a pep rally back in the fall. Is Coach Dixon the Joker to your Batman? Dang right he is. You hear that, guys? Yeah.
I knew you were going to bring this
Yeah,
up, Coach.
yeah.
I knew you would. Did he outwit me? Possibly. Did he out-athlete me? Never. Not a chance. Come on. No, let's just
my
say,
gosh.
okay, let's let the listeners in on the story. I was playing musical chairs and I was being very physical, right? I was
Yeah.
pushing people around. I
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
cheating. I was just being
Some
physical.
people might have said you were
No, I was just competing harder
Okay, I
than
got you.
anybody else. And I
got you.
think Coach Dixon was witnessing how physical I was being. He was scared. And so when it got down to just the 2 of us, he knew he didn't have a chance, like if we were really going to throw down. So yeah, he pulled the chair out from under me and I fell. And 15 years ago, Coach, I would have popped back up. I did pop back up because I'm not going to let anybody
Dang
see
right.
me in pain.
Dang right.
But I popped back up and I run over the other side and I'm like, ooh, that hurt. And yeah, so the next 2 weeks I spent in the training room trying to get my neck loosened back up. But yeah, Coach Dixon did me dirty
Well,
on that game of musical chairs.
I'm going to be honest with you. So when Coach Dixon does something wrong, I'm like, Cody, I promise you I will call Katie down here and I will get Katie to beat you up. Because, man, golly, he was in such fear for like a good month after that. Like, oh, my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. She can beat me up.
Oh, my God, that's great. That's great. No, Coach Dixon is a good dude.
He is a good dude.
But
He
yeah,
is
I'll
a
never
good dude.
forget it. I'll
Yeah,
never forget
yeah.
that.
I think that you guys should fight. Let me ask you this. What is your favorite coaching memory?
Oh my goodness. It's hard for me to pick one memory. I think the best moments that I've had as a coach are those teams that I've coached, not one specific moment, but the teams that I've coached that have been through the fire and been through the struggles, and then found a way to like turn it around. So I would say like this season, for example,
Right.
was a memorable season. My second season at Gunner was a memorable season because, we had challenges and we didn't have a whole lot of success, and just I think seeing kids like buy in and keep grinding and keep working, teaching kids to work through adversity is a huge part of what we do right now. One of the biggest struggles that we have. And so I've been able to see that with my team, here at Melissa. I mean, we really struggled my first year here, and then this year we were able to have a 20-plus win season. And so I think the whole season was one of the most fulfilling, to be honest with you, because we really had, for the most part, the same kids, and the kids we did add to our team were kind of homegrown kids that were still in our program that we added. So I'm just really proud of the season and proud of our kids. And it's probably one of those seasons I'll always remember as being one of the most fulfilling and gratifying.
But, I think it's a testament to you, your coaching staff, and the kiddos, because, you come in, and I don't care what anyone says. We're kind of talking to the Nick Saban of girls basketball in the state of Texas.
I appreciate that, but not close.
But you come into a situation, and you've always been successful, and you come into a situation, and your team struggles a little bit last year. But to me, it's a testament to you and your coaches and those kids for buying in, but you and those coaches being passionate and driven to push your culture and to really, I guess, motivate the kids and surround the kids by a positive way to find success. I mean, to me, watching the Katie Stinton team is a team that's going to play extremely hard. It's going to play great defense, and they're going to play for each other. And to me, that's a huge testament to you as a coach and to your program. And there's things that, I've said to the football coaching staff about, I noticed Coach Stinton last night in the girls basketball game doing this, and, what could we potentially do, and how could we incorporate that? So to me, I want to say thank you that I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, and you're right. It was a big effort, group effort, coaches buying in, and just that climb part, the climb from where you're at, and accepting that and being real honest about where you are. And that's one of the things I've been talking to the kids about. Like, we got to be honest with ourselves about where we are, because too often we don't want to be honest about like, we're not good at this right now. This is where we are, and you can do that in a way where you're still encouraging and building kids' confidence. Like, this is where we are, but it's not where we're going to be a week from now. And but I appreciate those words. But the kids, I mean, they really did buy in. It's hard going through coaching changes, especially with those older kids. But yeah, I appreciate it, and I'm super proud of our group.
No doubt. Let me ask you this, just because I want to, and I hope there's some kids that listen to this that are football kids. But we speak to these kids every day about what's going to separate you, what's your purpose for being here, and what motivates you. So you've had success as a high school player. So as a high school player, what motivated you? Who motivated you? I mean, did you believe that, or what do you believe helped separate yourself from other athletes back in those days?
I say this, and I do not want to sound like I'm tooting my own horn or whatever you want to say, but I don't recall having to have a lot of external factors motivate me whenever I was competing. Like, I don't know I think it was just something that I kind of had. I just hated to lose at anything. So I didn't, and I know that we have kids that need, some type of external motivation, and I know that's our job as coaches, but I don't ever remember needing some crazy pep talk from a coach or my dad telling me he's going to pay me $5 for a home run when I'm 8 years old or whatever, like you hear about. But I don't know. I think I just loved sports so much, and I loved to compete. And there's a big difference, and I tell my kids this, there's a difference between practicing and competing. I think a lot of kids think when they show up to practice, oh, I'm competing. No. You're really not. You can practice without being competitive. And that's, I think, an edge that sets kids apart, are the kids that truly, truly compete. And I don't care if it's one-on-one zigzag drill or, you know, what an Oklahoma drill, whatever
Right,
it is.
right.
Like you're not going to lose. And it's not because of any external factor other than I don't want that kid to beat me.
Right.
So I kind of feel like that's the way, and I feel like that's the way I am still. Like, and I'll be honest, I wish every kid had that,
Right.
but it's just,
Right.
it's not reality. So, but I don't think I needed it. I don't think I needed any external thing trying to make me competitive and make me want to win any more than maybe that was something my dad passed on to me because he was a great athlete that played everything, not great at one thing, just good at everything.
Right.
And we were just always competing.
Right. My mom was a good bowler growing up, by the way. Good
really?
bowler. Yeah, your dad was a great athlete. My mom was a good bowler.
That's a sport, coach.
Yeah, kind of. But here's the deal. Like, I think the thing that you said that is huge is, like, for me, it's going to be people love winning. I mean, coach, I love winning. And I'm going to say this is going to sound crazy, but, you know, I feel like I win every day. Like, you wake up, you're winning. Yada, yada. I can go through this whole cliche of winning. But losing has something to it that is just the most awful experience, the most awful feeling. And the thing is this, and I've had some success, but I don't care what anyone says. Everyone can say, oh, the Argyle wins, the Gilmer wins, the Solana wins. I don't think about any of that stuff. I think about the Sauk loss. I think about the Stephenville loss. You know, I don't think about anything, the Pleasant Grove loss. You know, that's what motivates me. And I think that's and I did not have that as a kid. As a kid, I loved sports. I wanted to play sports. I was motivated, to be truthful with you, I was motivated for girls. You know, that was about it. It really wasn't anything else. I loved to lift weights because girls would be like, oh, look at your biceps. You know what I'm saying? But that was it. As a professional, man, it's all about, I cannot stand losing.
Yep.
And I think that for me as an adult, and I don't know, you know, a lot of people say I hate losing, and I hope they mean that, but I just don't know. From my own personal experience, it is, golly. I mean, you know, Coach, you've had one of those losses where.
Oh, when you asked me my most memorable moment, I didn't want to go there, but when I'm thinking, I've got a haunting memory, and it revolves around an awful loss. You know, I didn't want to go, you know, so negative on the podcast when you asked about a memorable moment. I know you were wanting some but yeah, I'm with you on that because we lost in the regional final, essentially on a half court buzzer beater to go to the state tournament. And I wasn't right for a long time. Right. And I almost hate to admit it because I was a mother of 4 at this time. And I let it linger way too long. But yeah, I mean, that I'm with you on that. Like that, when I think about like memories, like that's literally the thing I think of first. I don't want to feel that type of loss on that stage ever again. It
is the worst feeling because of the fact of you, and I firmly believe this, and Coach, I know you're going to agree with this. It's not about you. It's about everybody else, every kid, every coach, everyone that's invested into the program. And you get to that point and you lose.
The locker room is the memory after the game that is the toughest thing because you're seeing kids that, I mean, fully invested that just work for that moment. And yeah, it does. You hurt for yourself because you're competitive. But yeah, I'm with you with your coaches and your kids that have been buying in. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, you and I, we play one-on-one game of basketball, okay? Who wins the game? A titan of athletic prowess like myself or Katie Stinton? I mean, I'll answer it for you.
All the questions you've asked, that's the dumbest one.
Okay, let's hold on one second. First off, I probably am 80, 90 pounds heavier than you are, Katie Stinton, okay? You are way more talented than me, way more talented than me. I'm way fatter than you are, okay? Way fatter. Okay, so I'm just telling you, I'm going to be Charles Barkley. I'm getting every rebound. Don't miss, because you ain't getting it back.
That's the problem. I won't.
Oh, get out of Dodge. Don't miss, first off.
Ask Coach Higgins, who rebounded for me yesterday. He never moved from under the net. He literally stood there for like 10 minutes and just grabbed the ball out of the net and passed it back to me. Ask him. It's true.
I think it would be a close game, but I think I'd edge you out. It would be close. It'd have to be half court if you're fixing to bring it up. It'd have to be half court. I'm talking about not even half court. It'd have to be inside the 3-point line. We check it up at the 3-point line.
I would say let's play it, but this old, I cannot afford to go under the knife again. I've had those knees. It's not an excuse.
That's an excuse maker.
No,
it's okay.
It's not.
Excuse maker. It's fine. I would be.
Can we just have a shooting competition?
You don't want to shoot against me. Just ask Coach Majors. We had a coaching league a couple summers ago, and I hit 6 3-pointers in his face. And I can't wait till he hears this, because this is a touchy subject for Coach Majors.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Does he say it didn't happen?
No, he says I elevate the 3-pointers, how much I made each time I tell it.
Like fisherman type story.
Yes, but it was 6.
Okay.
It was 6. I'm just saying. No, you're a way better shooter than I could ever fathom being. But I'm fatter than you, so I think I could box you out and whatnot.
Speed kills, Coach.
Let me ask you this question. What do you think the biggest challenges that coaches have to deal with and overcome in today's athletic world?
I think that eventually, when you get to college and you get to professional sports, it's a business. But I think, like, for the everyday kid, sports is becoming a business way too soon.
Right.
Like, you're talking like 7 years old.
Right.
And, I kind of think it's a challenge for us to make it a game still, and to make it, just fun, like
right.
Sandlot stuff,
right.
And it's like these kids are playing, high level, and that's great. I'm not trying to knock any of that, but I think some of the innocence of sports, and I think when they get to us, that's what they've been in.
Right.
And our job as a coach to remind them, like, yes, like we want to be competitive and we want to win, but this is also the best builder of character.
Right.
That, in my opinion, you can do is team sports.
Absolutely.
And not only that, it's the most fun. High school sports, to me, there's nothing that comes close in my life to the experiences and the memories I had as a high school athlete.
Right.
Playing with kids that were from my high school. And I think because it's starting to become a business so early, travel ball and all the money that's going into it, I think that trickles down to the kids and their mindset on how they're approaching it. And I think that's a challenge for us, to just keep it fun and keep it a game. I mean, that's what it is. And, I think it gets harder every year in terms of that.
I agree with you. I think for me on the football side is like you said, keeping it fun, making sure it's fun, because sometimes we all forget that it is just a game. We all forget that, you're doing this, to, and this is the coaching piece of it. As coaches, we're doing it to make young men and young women better people. 100%. And that is the number one goal. And then number two is to use a sport platform to show you some things that within your work ethic, and how to work as a team, and how to be motivated and whatnot. So to me, it's like you said, it's earlier. We're constantly these days, people are, it's all about offers, and it's all about getting my name on Twitter and things like that. And it's really not about, man, I love that game. I love playing that game. It's a fun game. I love being with my teammates and whatnot. But Coach, what's really going on for on the football side too is everything's kind of trickled down technology wise. So like the UIL just came out and we're like, yeah, you can use instant replay in the booth. You can use instant replay in the coach or the locker rooms during halftime.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that just came out. Well, I'm like, cool, that's awesome. Well, you look it up and you get a quote for it, and it's $20,000.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't do that,
right.
And then the UIL's coming out. Listen to this, Coach. This is nuts. The UIL's coming out with a thing where they're possibly going to do official replay. Okay, so Melissa is a pilot school for it, and so they starting it. We're doing a scrimmage, and during our spring game, they're going to be official on all our scrimmages next year, and our games, we're going to have official replay. Now, it's not going to be like legal, but they're going to see how it works. So that's another thing too, is catching up with because you know the South Lakes and people like
Yeah.
that, but there's going to be people in our district that have it as well, and that's kind of an upper hand. So
Is it going to be like coach-based challenges, or is it just officials that make a call and it's like unsure?
Yeah.
They're going to call the.
It's going to be coach-based challenges.
Oh.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's crazy.
I think it's insane.
You know you're going to love throwing that red flag
You
out
ain't
there.
no doubt.
You're going to be practicing your form and technique on that.
No doubt. Okay, what does coaching mean to you?
Man, I think when I think about just coaching, I think about just influence. And that's ultimately how I kind of define leadership is what is the influence you have over people? Are they better when you're in their presence or are they not? And, I think this is the greatest profession in the world.
Absolutely.
I think that, I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. I mean, we have the opportunity to change lives every single day.
Right.
And it could be somebody different, especially here in Melissa, every day of the year if we wanted it to
Absolutely.
be. And so as much as we want to be the best at X's and O's, and as much as we want to be the best at, our records, like ultimately we're in a position, like you said earlier, to build great people and to lock arms with their parents and help be an extension of their families and, help lead them in the right direction. And, sometimes I think we want that instant gratification of making a difference right now, but honestly, we don't see that sometimes until 5-10 years down the road.
Right.
But eventually you do when these kids, we have an impact on what type of mothers they're going to be, fathers, all the things. So when I think about coaching, I just think of opportunity and influence that I have over the kids that are under my leadership.
Dang.
I know that was deep, but
That's
it's true. That's from the heart.
That needs to be on a Hallmark card or a T-shirt. That's pretty legit. All right, Coach. I don't know if you know this about me or not, but I'm a big conspiracy theorist. I believe in aliens and Bigfoot and all this stuff. I'm like,
I'm not surprised.
That's true. All this stuff. So conspiracies, what's your take on them? Conspiracy theories, what's your take? I'm telling you, my take is, if it's in the news, it's true. It doesn't matter if it's on the internet, if it's the what was it called back in our day? The National Enquirer.
100%. You watched Inside Edition and all that garbage.
100%. And it's true. What's your take?
I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. I don't get wrapped up in all that. Like, I honestly, probably in the last, 10 years, and that's about the time I started having children. Like, I don't watch the news. Like, I know that's bad. I need to be in the know, but yeah, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist.
Coach,
at
I watch
all.
the news.
Like, what's the one, like, your favorite? Like, the one that you're like certain is true.
Probably the Illuminati. Like, that's the one. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the truth. The Illuminati. But I could literally like go through all of them, and I'm probably going to be like, yeah, I believe in that one too.
Is the government listening to our conversation right now?
Okay, so great.
Through our iPhones.
Great point. My wife is a conspiracy theorist as well, and you can't say certain things if you have your phone on you, because she believes that the government is listening to what you're saying, which I don't know about that one. I mean, probably, maybe, but
all I know, this does happen.
Yes.
Like, if you talk about something in Facebook, like,
all
the things that show, like, it'll start bringing those reels into your Facebook. Like, there is some truth to that.
Come on now.
You don't believe that?
That's the one I don't believe.
But it is true. Like, and I'm not even a conspiracy theorist. And I'll be like, watch, like, Justin Bieber's going to be all over my Facebook when I leave here. It's going to happen. And Illuminati stuff, whatever.
Hey, I'm telling you, he might be in the Illuminati. I don't know. But I'm telling you, that's the one I'm like, the Illuminati.
And what's another one?
Man, aliens.
Like, you really believe like they're in space?
No, I'm the conspiracy theorists that believe that they're not in space. They're of the earth.
Oh.
Yes. And I could go on, and people would be calling in saying I'm a nut,
They're going to cancel dang right.
Yes. The government is. The government, not Melissa ISD, the government is going to cancel dang right. But that is something that, like, it's really hit me a few times, like, man, I think that's true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I used to take my boys Bigfoot hunting when they were little bitty boys. And I don't know if you ever saw the show. I was like on Animal Planet or something, but Finding Bigfoot. Oh yeah, I can tell you how to all the stuff where you like, you hit trees and you make screaming noises and whatnot. And
oh my gosh,
we've had them scream back a couple times.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
I got too much else occupying my brain space and too much else to worry
I think
about.
it's because I watch too much Fox News that I am. Like, I have turned into my grandpa. When I hit about 40, I get up and I drink coffee all day long. I watch Fox News and I complain about the weatherman being wrong. That's like my life,
Yeah.
and then I try to get some football and stuff in there too. But it's mostly about, Fox News and coffee.
And the weather,
And
you old man.
caramels. I eat a lot of caramels. Oh my gosh. Well, I want to thank Katie Stinton today for spending some time with us on the podcast. Coach Stinton, is there anything you'd like to add or any final thoughts you'd like to share with our listeners before we conclude?
No, I was very, very just shocked to be, I know this is your 3rd episode, right?
4th.
Oh man, I'm hitting cleanup.
Dang right you are. Dang right.
I thought I was in the 3 hole and I was going to be like super excited about that, but
my wife was upset.
Cleanup.
When I said, she's like, who's on the podcast? And I said, Katie Stinton. She's like, dang it. I said, well, what do you mean?
She totally should have been.
She's going to knock it out of the park. She's going to be amazing. Y'all, it's going to be so much fun. But yeah, go ahead.
No, this was awesome. I think it's great that you're doing this, and really cool idea, and I've had a blast. It's been really fun, Coach.
Thank you. Well, thank you for listening to the Dang Right podcast with Coach Nally. Thank you to our guest, Miss Coach Stinton, and thank you to Mr. Kramen and his students for putting this podcast together. Have a great week, and it's always a great day to be a Cardinal.